The Next.js docs say only these 4 props are required for the image component. However, providing the minimum won't always give you the best results. Let's look at how we can help improve image optimization in Next.js. Hello and welcome. I'm Dave. Today we will learn how to optimize responsive images in Next.js. And I'll provide links to all resources in the description below. I'll also provide a link for you to join my Discord server where you can discuss web development with other students, and you can ask questions that I can answer and receive help from other viewers too. I look forward to seeing you there. The Next.js image component provides many optimizations automatically, but we can take an active role to achieve the best optimizations possible. Before we begin, I just want to highlight in the next.config.js file that I've set up a remote patterns for the content that I'm pulling in, the remote images that I have in a GitHub repository. That's where I'm pulling my images in from, and you need to do that in Next.js for any domain that you are bringing in images from. So this is kind of your allowed list for where you accept images from in your application that will then be optimized with the Next image component. Now notice how it's broken down, and there is a wildcard right here at the end of images, so it accepts any images file. There's more on this in the docs if you need help setting it up, but I think you can see from my pattern here how the URL is broken down. And now let's look at an example image component, and I have a custom image component that I'm using in the blog project. And by the way, this project is the final project that was in my Next.js course that you can find on my YouTube channel. And at the top here, we're bringing in image from Next Image. We have some props, and of course, the custom image component is receiving that, and it really just wraps around the actual image component, so I can pass these in to this custom image component inside my MDX files. But what I want to talk about is the image component itself. Now, aside from the 4 required props we showed at the intro of this video, there's also a class name here where I have some Tailwind classes applied, but we're pulling in the source, so that's where the video is, the URL for a remote image. Then we have width and height, and we'll talk about those in just a second, and then alt, which is just the description of the image in case it doesn't load, or of course you could see that in the file as well. So let's get back to width and height. Notice I've got both of these set to static values, currently just 650, and this is a little confusing because this doesn't determine the rendered size of the image file when we're working with remote images. So counterintuitive, if you will. Let's look at the docs. In the docs under remote images, we see that the width and height attributes are used to infer the correct aspect ratio of image and avoid layout shift from the image loading in. So that's the main reason they're used, to determine that aspect ratio, and so we don't get a layout shift. Also, the width and height do not determine the rendered size of the image file. So that's interesting and a little counterintuitive. So really, when we're passing in those values, we're passing in what we expect the aspect ratio to be, so we don't get that layout shift. Now, we've all experienced layout shift. It's usually the most frustrating on our phones when we attempt to press a button and then the button moves, or shifts, if you will, right before we press because an image loaded that moved where the button was. So I can demonstrate layout shift. And back in VS Code, I've provided an incorrect aspect ratio here. 650 by 650 is a square, but I'm going to use an image that is 16 by 9 for the aspect ratio, more like we would see in a video. Okay, we're in the Chrome browser, so to see this layout shift, I've got to do a few things. I'm going to open the Dev Tools, and I'm on the Network tab, which I need to come back to, but first I want to go to the Application tab and clear any site data that I have for this application that's already running. Now let's go back to the network. I'll disable the cache, and I'm going to throttle my connection down to a 3G connection. Now as I scroll up, we have our 16 by 9 image here. Notice there's text above and below. What should happen is we should see a larger space than is needed because we've given equal height and width, and so it should provide some extra space here that's not needed, and then we should see this text shift up. Let's see what happens when I reload. So loading on a very slow 3G connection. So it's taking a little bit. Yes, you see that extra space, and now the text came up and then the image loaded. So it did shift just a little bit, although the screen might not be tall enough to see the full shift, where the text was probably rendered below before it came up to where it is now. But that's just giving you an example of content layout shift. Now I need to remember to switch all of this back. So no throttling, and I'm not going to disable the cache. And so with what we've learned, you'd think it would always be best to just provide the actual dimensions of the image to the image component. But this might not be the case. And we can check this out by looking at my example, which I know this is always going to get no larger than 650 pixels across. But I have a much larger image. If we look here at the actual image in GitHub, it is 2,560 pixels by 1,440. So back in VS Code, let's try this out by putting in the actual dimensions. So we've got 2,560 by 1,440. I'll save this change and we'll look back at our blog in Chrome. And now I'm going to reload the page. And now let's go ahead and open DevTools once again. I'm going to right-click and inspect this element here. Now let's look at what we get provided with the image element. We can see there is a source set that is generated by Next.js. And when we mouse over these URLs, we get more information in Chrome. You can see the intrinsic size, essentially the original size of the image, is 2,560 by 1440. The intrinsic aspect ratio is 16 by 9, and that's what we want. However, let's see if we can get a little more scroll here and see the image size below. Yes, there it is. File size, 66.8 KB or kilobytes. So what happens now in VS Code if I switch this back to 650 and once again 650, not the accurate aspect ratio, but a smaller number. Let's see what happens now in Chrome when we reload the page. So I'll do that. And let's check now as we mouse over. And we can see the intrinsic size is now listed as 1920 by 1080, and we actually have a smaller file size. So we might be putting up with a little bit of layout shift under our image, but we get a smaller file size down to 47.3 KB. And we can see the actual rendered size is 650 by 366 pixels. So we could put in those dimensions. Let's make that final change and see if anything else changes. So we'll switch our height to 366, and now we come back to Chrome, and it should have already reloaded. We can check. Let's go ahead and reload just to make sure. And now let's check once again, and it still says the intrinsic size is 1920 by 1080. The file size is still 47.3 KB. So we really didn't reduce the file size any by making that change. However, we did go ahead and eliminate that layout shift because we now have in the correct height as far as the aspect ratio is concerned. So to sum up, what I'm pointing out here is it might be better to actually lie to Next.js rather than provide the actual dimensions of your image. You could provide smaller numbers if you know the maximum width, for example, that your image could possibly achieve. And in my case, I knew this would never get larger than 650 pixels across. But we can still improve all of this, and this is going to be the biggest tip in this video. So let's go back to the docs. We need to use the sizes prop on Next.js image components every time. And this can be a little bit misleading when you first look at the documentation, I feel, because they never use an example that shows the sizes prop when they're also using width and height. They only show the sizes prop with the fill prop. And that's not a limitation. You can use sizes when you use width and height as well. So a key thing to point out here is it says the value of sizes will greatly affect the performance for images using fill, and they highlight that in the docs with examples, but it says also, or which are styled to have a responsive size. And as we've already pointed out, especially for remote images, width and height is more helping define the aspect ratio that's expected than it is giving any rendered size of the image. So the sizes property serves two important purposes related to image performance. So first, and we talked about Next.js, or I mentioned this briefly, Next.js actually generates a source set of the image. And the sizes, or the value of sizes, is used by the browser to determine which size of the image to download from that automatically generated source set. Now, the second part here is the sizes property configures how the next image component automatically generates that source set. So the source set is very important, and we saw that when I inspected the code, but we don't add that at all. Let's look at one example they give here in the docs, and it does use fill, but they have sizes set. Now, I always have a hard time determining what values to put in here, and we'll discuss that as well and how you can get this perfect every time. But just in this example, it says the sizes could have a dramatic effect on the performance metrics, because without that 33 viewport units that you see here at the end, the image selected from the server would be 3 times as wide as it needs to be. And because file size is proportional to the square of the width, essentially without that sizes prop added onto the image component, you would download an image that's 9 times larger than necessary. So we really want to figure this out. Let's go ahead and copy this first. I'm going to apply it to my code, and I know this isn't the correct value that I need, but I need to put this in there first, and I'll show you why. Okay, I'm back in VS Code, and I'm going to put the sizes prop here along with everything else, but I'm going to comment it out quickly because I just want to go back to the browser and highlight the generated source set that we have without sizes first. I'm back in the browser, and I've got this open in DevTools already, and we can see the source set that I was mousing over before to see some image stats from. It's not that big. It has 1x here, it has 2x here, so not much. It's providing a little bit, but not a whole lot. And that's because if you don't provide the sizes prop, only a small source set is generated for a fixed size. It would be appropriate for a fixed size image, but not responsive images. Responsive images absolutely need the larger source set that Next.js will generate when the sizes prop is provided. So now I'll go back and we'll uncomment that, and then we'll check out the much larger source set that Next.js is going to provide for that same image. Now notice we have a much larger source set here. I can't fit it all into the window, but it has way more than just the 2 that we previously saw. So we've got the image here and then 256, and you see the different breakpoints that are labeled here and what it's going to provide. That really helps as far as the efficiency and optimization of a responsive image. But don't forget, I didn't put the right values in for my sizes prop yet, so I want to show you how to do that. So there is a website that I will link to in the description of this video that is a linter for responsive images. And what it tells you to do is to drag this to your bookmarks bar. So I'm just going to show my bar quickly, and you can see I've already got it here, but I can do it again, and you just drag it up to the bar and it adds it to your bookmarks. And then you want to go to the page that you're testing out, and now I can just use this here, and it will run tests on this image, and it will make a recommendation for the sizes. Now, it won't agree with everything that Next.js does, so we're not going to make any of these descriptor things pass that it mentions, and we'll always see those. So we won't really ever pass the tests that it gives because it doesn't agree with Next.js even after we put in its recommendation on sizes. However, it calculates exactly what should be here. So we can just copy this sizes now. And the reason I had in the previous value is you need something else in there so it generates that larger source set even though it has the wrong values. And then this essentially corrects what you had wrong. So we'll copy this. Now let's put this back in our code and replace that sample we had from the docs. So this is what I should have for sizes now. And I can save this. We can go back and check once again. If we want to, we need to go back here. And of course, we've reloaded the page. Now we click the linter. It probably won't have an issue with the sizes. It's still going to give us the other error on the descriptor, and we can just ignore that because Next.js calculates that source set for us. And we're just going to let Next.js do that. I think they know what they're doing. However, everything else turned out great. We don't have a warning for the sizes now. So I'll put a link to this calculator in the description, and it's really going to help you figure out those sizes. They're always confusing, and really, I should give a shout out to Chris Coyer, I believe is how you pronounce your name, Chris. Thank you very much for this article on CSS tricks, because he was describing in this article essentially how hard it is to manually calculate that sizes value, and he gave a link to that linter that we just used. And then, of course, a shout out to Martin Oswager, I believe is Martin's correct name that I'm pronouncing. Maybe I didn't get the last name right. Martin, I'm pretty sure I did, but thank you for creating this linter for responsive images that helps all the rest of us put in that accurate sizes value for that prop. I'm back at the blog site with it reloaded with our new larger source set now and the correct sizes value that we have from the linter. And now let's check out our image that is loading. You can see it's down to 27.7 KB. We were up in the 40s. The intrinsic size is also smaller now. It's at 1200 by 675. And then the rendered size is right about the same, 653 by 367. So we're definitely optimizing better now, down from 40-something KB down to 27.7. And the last setting to really discuss today is priority that I am passing in as a prop to this custom image component, and it's a Boolean. So we're going to have priority. It's either going to be true or false, and we can just put the double bang in front of that to go ahead and make sure it is Boolean data, and then we can just pass that in. Now back in the docs under priority, we're looking at this and it says when true, the image is considered high priority and it preloads. So lazy loading is automatically disabled. And you should use the priority property on any image detected, and they say as the largest contentful paint, which is kind of the language you would see in Lighthouse if you were testing your code to see if it was optimized. However, we can just think of this as above the fold in any device you might be displaying your website in. So if you have an image that maybe it doesn't show on the first page in mobile and you have to scroll to see it, but maybe in a larger monitor, it would show, you want to go ahead and make that a priority. So set priority to true if you think that image is going to show in the first screen before you ever scroll, no matter what device it is, because then you'll get that in that largest contentful paint that they're talking about. So you just want to prioritize the images that would load into view immediately, essentially, before you would ever scroll. And just jumping down to the loading prop, I only want to highlight this because I have seen it recommended in some other tutorials, but there is a note here from Next.js. It said this property is only meant for advanced use cases. Switching an image to load, with eager will normally hurt performance. So you should use priority instead of using loading set to eager. So I just wanted to point that out as well. Stick with the priority prop. So we're back at my custom image, and really what I need to decide is, do I want to pass in the width and height to define the aspect ratio as props every time, and then of course put width and height here instead of actual numbers? We would get the values as I pass them in. Or do I just want to set something I can live with a little bit of layout shift with, which is probably what I'm going to do. Most of the time, I'm going to have 16 by 9 images, and essentially these dimensions fit that. I could set it to 650 by 650, then I would always get a little bit of space underneath my 16 by 9 image that would then shift up. And then of course, if I had any image that was taller, it wouldn't shift down as much. So if I have more of a square image, it might push some things down also. But in a blog, this doesn't matter so much to me as it would in something like a web app, say on your phone, where I'm pushing a button to check in or to look at a playlist or something like that. That's when that content layout shift gets very frustrating. However, if you want to avoid layout shift completely, you should absolutely put it up here in your custom image as props and always pass it in for every image. And finally, a couple of Tailwind classes that would be good to add, especially if you don't pass in the width and height for that aspect ratio every time. I'm going to go ahead and put in a width of 100% and a height of auto. So go ahead and add those to your class name as well, and that will help adjust anything so it doesn't get out of whack at any point. Remember to keep striving for progress over perfection, and a little progress every day will go a very long way. Please give this video a like if it's helped you, and thank you for watching and subscribing. You're helping my channel grow. Have a great day, and let's write more code together very soon.